Eid, a festival of happiness, togetherness, and celebrations. Families reunite, homes are decorated, and the aroma of delicious food fills the air. But what if, just a day before Eid, a house that was supposed to be full of laughter turns into a crime scene? A man, once full of dreams and love for his family, is found murdered in cold blood. No forced entry, no signs of robbery, only a silent corpse and a pressure cooker smeared with blood. Was this a burglary gone wrong? Or was the killer someone much closer than anyone imagined? A successful engineer, a devoted husband, and a father of two, Jafaruddin was supposed to be celebrating Eid with his family, but instead, he met a brutal end in his own home. Who would want him dead? And why did his wife, Shanaz, have a hidden phone no one knew about? This is not just a murder. It's a tale of love, betrayal, and a chilling conspiracy that unfolded in the quiet streets of Patna. Jafaruddin was an electrical engineer with a promising career. Born and raised in Patna, he later moved to Saudi Arabia, securing a well-paying job. This was a dream come true for many families. Financial stability, a life of comfort, and a bright future. His parents found him the perfect bride, Shanaz, a young woman from a respectable family in Patna. On the surface, their life seemed perfect. Jafar was a devoted husband, and Shanaz was a caring wife. Together, they had 2 sons, and everything appeared to be in harmony. But behind closed doors, not everything was as it seemed. While Jafar was working abroad, Shanaz was living a life of her own back in India. Long hours of separation created a void, one that she eventually filled with someone from her past. Kamal, her childhood love. Their secret affair reignited, and soon, Jafar became nothing more than an obstacle in Shanaz's new life. But how far would she go to remove that obstacle? After spending years in Saudi Arabia, Jafaruddin made a life-changing decision. He left his high-paying job and moved to Noida, India, to be closer to his family. He believed that his presence would bring happiness to Shanaz and their children. For 2 years, they lived together in Noida, tried to adjust to their new life. Jafar assumed that the past was behind them, but little did he know that the betrayal was far from over. Eid was approaching, and Jafar suggested they visit their hometown in Patna. It was time to celebrate with extended family, and this year was special. Jafar had built a new house right next to his in-laws using the savings from his years in Saudi Arabia. But was this decision truly his, or had Shanaz subtly manipulated him into returning? On the night of May 2nd, everything seemed normal. The family had a lavish dinner. Shanaz had prepared Jafar's favorite chicken biryani. After dinner, he went to sleep early, but little did he know, this would be his last night. As the investigation gained momentum, the police started piecing together the final hours of Jafar's life. The crime scene was analyzed thoroughly, and the forensic team discovered something odd. There was no sign of forced entry, no stolen valuables, and no struggle apart from the gruesome attack itself. This was not a random act of violence. It was personal. Shanaz, Jafar's widow, gave her statement, claiming she had woken up to find her husband lying lifeless, soaked in blood. Her sobs and wails convinced some, but the police remained skeptical. Neighbors reported hearing muffled voices late at night, but no screams for help. Adding to the mystery, investigators discovered that Jafar had recently received multiple unknown calls before his death. As the police checked Jafar's call records, a particular number stood out. It belonged to a man named Kamal, Shanaz's ex-lover. When confronted, Shanaz hesitated before admitting that she had been in touch with Kamal, but denied any involvement in the murder. However, her nervousness raised suspicion. As the police dug deeper, they found shocking evidence. Hidden inside Shanaz's wardrobe was a second mobile phone, completely unknown to Jafar. When investigators unlocked the device, they found hundreds of intimate messages between Shanaz and Kamal. These weren't just romantic texts. They spoke of a dangerous obsession, of longing, and most disturbingly, of a plan to eliminate Jafar. The messages revealed discussions about poisoning him, hiring someone to kill him, and even staging a robbery to make his death look like an accident. This was no ordinary affair. It was a deadly conspiracy. Meanwhile, the police tracked Kamal's whereabouts. and found that he had been in the vicinity of Jaffer's house on the night of the murder. When confronted, Shanaz broke down but insisted she was innocent. But could she still be trusted? After a frantic manhunt, the police finally tracked Kamal to a cheap lodge on the outskirts of the city. When arrested, he initially denied any wrongdoing, but when shown the phone messages, his demeanor changed. He started sweating, his hands trembled, and after hours of relentless questioning, he finally broke down. Kamal confessed that he and Shanaz had been planning Jaffer's murder for months. He revealed that Shanaz had initially proposed poisoning Jaffer's food, but they feared it wouldn't work. So they decided on a more violent approach. On the night of the murder, Shanaz left the door unlocked, allowing Kamal to sneak in. She waited until Jaffer was fast asleep before signaling Kamal, who then entered the bedroom and struck Jaffer repeatedly with a blunt object. The forensic report matched Kamal's confession perfectly. The wounds on Jaffer's head indicated multiple blows, proving this was not a spur-of-the-moment attack, but a carefully planned execution. As the case went to trial, the courtroom was packed with journalists, lawyers, and enraged citizens. The prosecution presented the mobile phone evidence, the forensic findings, and Kamal's confession, making it clear that Shanaz and Kamal had meticulously planned the murder. Shanaz, however, refused to plead guilty. Instead, she accused Kamal of committing the crime alone, claiming that he had forced her into the affair and had killed Jaffer out of jealousy. But Kamal's confession and the evidence against her painted a different story. The jury was faced with a chilling reality: a wife who had chosen love and greed over the life of her husband. As the trial continued, people outside the courthouse demanded justice for Jaffer. Social media was flooded with outrage, with many calling for the harshest punishment for Shanaz and Kamal. The case had become a nationwide sensation, a dark tale of love, betrayal, and murder. After weeks of testimonies and emotional arguments, the court finally reached its verdict. Shanaz and Kamal were both found guilty of premeditated murder and sentenced to life imprisonment. The judge called it a heinous crime fueled by greed and betrayal, ensuring that neither of them would ever walk free again. As Shanaz was taken away in handcuffs, she kept repeating that she was innocent, but the world had already passed judgment. Meanwhile, Jaffer's family finally found closure, though the scars of his brutal murder would never fade. The case left a lasting impact on society, serving as a grim reminder of how love, when tainted with deception, can lead to unimaginable horrors. People who had once admired Shanaz as a loving wife now saw her as a symbol of treachery. This case is a chilling reminder of how dangerous unchecked emotions and greed can become. Jaffer had no idea that the woman he loved, the mother of his children, was plotting his murder behind his back. The question remains, was Shanaz truly the mastermind, or was she manipulated by Kamal? Could she have stopped this tragedy if she had walked away from the affair? What do you think? Do you believe Shanaz was the real villain, or was Kamal the one pulling the strings? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this story intriguing, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update on true crime cases like this. Stay safe, stay vigilant, and remember, sometimes the greatest dangers come from those we trust the most.